this weekend, we focus on the beautiful truth about you. There are many spiritual phrases that you have become aware of since you've taken up this spiritual path, all that are intended to bring you face to face with truth and aligning yourself with that truth, taking those truths into the meditation and into the silence opens the way for the truths that you are studying, that you are embracing, to fulfill themselves in you and through you and ultimately as you. One of those truths many years ago, even before I began teaching the current format of the Wednesday Tree of Life class, which returns to you the most ancient of spiritual teachings, the Tree of Life, the Book of Life, a teaching that shows, that demonstrates who we truly are, a teaching that reveals to us that our inner self is the individualization of God. Years ago yet, I offered you a truth that beyond the seeming limitations of your mind, beyond the door of your mind, there is another door. And that door is the door to everything. Everything, as I taught you, is your soul. Everything in the soul can be understood as the universal mother's sacred womb that holds the original divine blueprint of your beingness when you were created in an absolute state of perfection. In our teachings, we are approaching our mind and the mind that is beyond our mind. The mind that human beings use today is limited. What has caused this limitation? A belief in duality. Yet beyond the perimeters of the thinking mind is your own greater mind. Mind that has never been affected by beliefs of this world. Mind that has never been colored by religion or dogma or the outer experiences of the world that are sometimes impure. Mind that is absolutely pure. We have often said, it's that mind, once you access it, it's best and most easily said because you can imagine it. That mind is the mind that was and is in Jesus Christ, the mind of God. And so beyond the mind is your whole beautiful mind. And beyond your heart, once your heart is restored, are secret pathways to your soul. As I have taught you, your soul is your source of genius. Our goal is to open all of those pathways so that your beautiful mind, your beautiful heart soul, that you as a being of consciousness can use your mind in the most magnificent, omniscient ways, that you can use your heart, the feeling side of life, the soul, in the most loving, fulfilling ways. Ultimately, what waits for every human being and has waited for millions and millions and millions of years. And only now are there millions of human beings who are awakening around the planet. And in the various spiritual paths and awakening movements, what is most profound is the ability to demonstrate what you have studied. The ability to allow what you have studied to so change, to so transform you until something magnificent happens. And that is that the very magnificent, beautiful truth about you begins to find its most sacred and important element: expression. Expression. To be able to express the beautiful truth about you, your mind, your heart, your feelings, your creativity, your personality. And watch, even as this expression unfolds, watch where even your physical garments respond and change, and indeed become a mighty temple deserving to host the sacred and spiritual being that each and every one of you are. We are approaching our 24th year with thousands of students in more than 39 countries today. And it's taken a while. It takes a while. For to spiritually awaken, we must face ourselves. We must be willing to heal ourselves. We must be willing to understand how our minds work, our hearts. There are certain laws that we have to begin to understand how they work so that we can come into alignment with those laws. The law of intention, the law of attention, the law of attraction, the law of momentum, the law of qualification. And throughout the thousands of discourses that have come forth in these almost 24 years, we have covered all of these topics. They have created a wonderful expansion in each of you. In Montreal, in August, at the Diamond Heart Conclave, through the power and authority of the ascended Jesus Christ, those of you who have chosen this spiritual path, and let me say that each spiritual path offers something unique, and all ought to be honored. Our spiritual path, what makes our spiritual path unique, it is the path of resurrection. Resurrection is the raising up. It is the rising activity where eventually the greater forces of your own life are unleashed, the assistance of angels, the assistance of ascended beings come in. And like that saying, the phoenix rises from the ashes. Your true, beautiful self emerges into expression. And as this occurs, the true light, the true love, and the power and the glory of your soul, spiritual being unfolds. And as this occurs, every activity of your life becomes a reflection. of all that is happening. Your health becomes a reflection of that. Your relationships become a reflection of of that expression. Your abundance, your supply becomes a reflection of that beautiful expression. Throughout this weekend, I ask, as you hear myself and the Son and our Ascended Master guests this weekend be with you, I invite you to nest that word, that feeling of expression. And I ask you in this moment to just expand yourself and your ideas about expression, because certainly we can rush to the conclusion that we express ourselves through the speaking module, through the voice. You really think that's all? Well, let's just talk about the beautiful you when you were born. Or let's talk about any baby child, a baby in its first few months. And the baby is in a very special place. She or he is not uncomfortable. Diapers are changed. And the baby is just cooing as you pour your love to the baby. What parents do not know is through the baby may not have yet developed the mind through the art of language that you use or the beliefs passed down by parents, but every baby understands what you say to them through the feeling side of life, because everyone that is born in this world of the multi-body system that you use, and the three main bodies, the mental body, the physical body, the feeling body, be pleasantly surprised to hear that the body that is fully developed when you are born is your feeling body. And when you as a mother or a father pour your love to the child in your arms, and your child is going, you understand that, yes? That baby is feeling, and there is nothing in the feeling body of the baby, especially in the first few weeks. There is no offense in the feeling body of the newborn. All the 144 qualities of love, none of them are hindered. There is no dark emotion, no human emotion, such as fear and all the family of fear. None of that exists. You can look at a baby. Well, that little baby girl or little baby boy, a couple of weeks old, do you remember? And they're sleeping, and you just look at them. You're looking at the beautiful truth about them. What a beautiful, beautiful newborn child. You are seeing the beautiful early blossoms of the beautiful truth of that child. And the baby becomes more than a few weeks into a few months. That baby is often expressing her or his love through its eyes, through its little fingers that it coils around your finger. Remember that? Your baby is expressing love. I have seen a magnificent shift in the student body since the Diamond Heart Conclave. And I have seen the particular shift of expression. I see it. Of course, I feel it. But I wish to emphasize, I see it. I see the love that is radiating more through your eyes. Only an individual can betray themselves by being fooled with what they think they are seeing. Yet no person can really hide what the eyes have seen and are part of the expression of future moments. If one has had a painful, a difficult, a sorrowful, a dysfunctional, a very hurt life, in whether they're in their 30s or 40s or 50s, you can see the absence of joy. Sometimes, for observation purposes, we can approach something by asking, what is absent here? When we know what is absent, we can then gain a greater understanding of what is present. I am seeing this, and I wish you all to hear this. I wish you all to look for it, and I wish you to know that once something begins, it is only natural that it grow, that it expand, that it gain a momentum. From the very beginning in 1994, from that time that we visited that little village for the first time in the Okanagan Valley of British Columbia, little town called Vernon, and 14 people came to that first event on October 4th. And since then, I have maintained, if I can create a student body that will trust, that will have faith, let me teach. And if the students applying those teachings in their lives can see results, and we can expand the student body, then I will use my authority in the Central Sun, because I represent the Mother's presence in this universe. And if I get a student body, what can be done for one, I will do for all. And what is occurring in many, I can use that and see that it begins to occur in everyone. Students have come up to the messengers and have said to them, the love that is pouring through her eyes, it wasn't talking about me or Akasha or the messenger, she was talking about another Rose, the love that was pouring through her eyes. And you always know the truth. You can betray your own sight, but what is in the sight looking at you you will see through the truth of it always. And as you see the love radiating through the eyes, I say to you right now, beloved hearts, I am seeing it in the hundreds and hundreds. Let's make it in the thousands and thousands, as we do have a few thousand students. And so I will simply say to you, practice pouring love through your eyes. And it's not one of those things that you can really ask me, well, how do I do that? It's one of the first things that you did when you were born into this world. It's one of the first things that you did as a baby. You transmitted your love through your eyes. You loved the ones that had been anointed to care for you and bring you into this world. It was later all the dysfunction came. But I wish you to understand, precious hearts, we're moving into an activity in the academy now where more and more we think of, what are you demonstrating? Are you demonstrating the presence of joy in your life? Are you demonstrating the presence of peace? Are you demonstrating the presence of God? Now I could just say it a different way. Are you expressing greater and greater peace in your life? Are you expressing more and more joy in your life? Are you expressing more the fullness of your God self in your life? We can switch the words around and we can understand them. I will tell you something today. I gave myself 25 human years. I didn't know what I would do if it didn't happen. I never looked at that. But I gave myself 25 years to raise a student body sufficiently where the vast majority of those students were demonstrating, were expressing their joy, more of the true values, the source of their godliness, of their spirituality, of the beauty of their soul. In 25 years, I had to have a student body that knew how to stop struggle in their lives, how to attract only into your life that which you so desired. And it's quite a long list. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I gave myself 25 years. In a few days, we were 1994, 2017. In a few days, October 4th, we will be completing 23 years, correct? Gosh, this time next year, we're completing 24 years. Then you're going to have to start thinking about what we're all going to have to do for the 25th anniversary. But here's my point. We're right on target. We are right on target. My goodness, I remember in 2002, and of course, a son who you've come to, well, like me, love and tolerate. I think you have a little more fun with him than I sometimes will admit to. He said to me in 2002, he said, Akasha, appreciate that you're not the one that's stuck in the world with these roses. But his point was that in 2002, 74% of our students were in a poverty consciousness. 74% of the students, because the son can register this, he can register it in your, as your consciousness expressing through your mind, your beliefs, your attitudes, your emotions, he can measure this. That much poverty consciousness. Today, it's 12%. The poverty consciousness that is expressing through our students is 12%. What an accomplishment. The remainder of this year and the time with you, I seek to take this time and I'm counting on a son to measure, constantly measure your mental body, your feeling body, to alert me. What do I need to go back? What teaching do I need to go back, bring it back up front, and emphasize it again? Because you have changed, and if I emphasize it again, if I approach it again, maybe explain it in a different way, then you can move through those things quickly. Suffice it to say that in the many things that we have taught, by now, you all ought to know something. And when you allow it from yourself, then you're at a place where self meets self. And what are you going to do about it? And what is the subject that I'm talking about? When it's clear to me as I listen to you that you still have something in your life that's an issue. And as long as you have an issue about something, you will not have the law of attraction working. You will have the law of the sinister force. And that's the law of resistance. In other words, if you say to yourself or me, I have an issue, and we do. A son told me he received two letters last week. Well, son, I've got everything in my life is just beautiful and wonderful. I just have this issue about money. When's it going to come? The student's own word, the student himself confessed. Yet throughout the years, we keep bringing it up. If you make something an issue, now I'm using a different word expression, and this is an example how I'm approaching it a little differently. I want you to know that when something becomes an issue, so clearly I'm speaking of more behavioral issues, manifestation issues, what you're attracting issues, yes? You understand? Then you don't have the law of attraction working, you have the law of resistance. Your own life will resist you fulfilling that issue because you made it an issue. You will have the law of resistance instead of the law of attraction working. And I've hoped to say it this way because, precious hearts, I feel you're so close. You are so close. The challenge with the outer spiritual